When I look at James Harden, I see a guy who won't ever win a chip because he's a guy who doesn't care about winning a chip. Year after year, from his early days in OKC to his prime MVP level years in Houston to his current season with the Clippers, he's done nothing but disappoint you when it matters the most, in the playoffs. In the 2012 finals with OKC, he averaged 12.4 points per game off 37% shooting and was a complete no-show for most of that series against Miami. But in case anyone wanted to give him an out because he was young and not the top dog on that team, hell, he wasn't even the second best player. Okay, cool. Not a reason to excuse bad play, but let's just go with that narrative, that factor of age and him just being a role player. How do you then defend the 8 straight years of choking in the playoffs with the Rockets, where he's not only the top dog on the team and in his prime, but he's an MVP caliber player for about half of those 8 seasons? Yeah, on the surface, you see that he averaged 26 or more points per game in every one of those playoff years with the Rockets. But if you take a closer look, he only shot 41% or worse from the field for 7 of those 8 postseasons. His one and only claim to fame was leading the Rockets to a Game 7 in the 2018 Western Conference Finals against the stacked KD Golden State Warriors, and then choking the game away in the second half, shooting 2 for 13 from downtown. Talk about letdowns. Let's fast forward to his 2023 playoff run with Joel Embiid and the Sixers. Sure, he isn't the same James Harden at this stage of his career, but he's far from being an old man with nothing left. He showed flashes of brilliance against the Celtics. Then in Game 7, the same old song. This dude melted down and put up 9 points. Yeah, you heard correctly, 9. And looked completely uninterested. To this year with the Clippers, things looked great in the regular season. He looked like he fit in and a chemistry was beginning to form with Kawhi, PG, and Russ. After losing the first 4 games, they won 26 out of 31 and looked like a legit title contender. Then come the playoffs. As the year ended and the playoffs began, they realized they'd be without Kawhi Leonard. But the team still has 3 all-star dudes, so it's not a huge deal, but it's still a loss. So time for James to step up, right? Wrong. After averaging 26 points per game against Luka and the Mavericks off 51% shooting in the first 4 games of the series, James reverted back to being the never-ending failure we know him as by averaging 11.5 points in games 5 and 6, shooting 25% from the field. Definitely not the guy you can bet money on when the lights get bright. So since he now just looks like a guy who's just going through the motions, only about the bag, and never delivering in the playoffs, maybe he should seriously consider retiring soon. After all, his best years are behind him. There's a new wave of young stars taking over the league, and he just doesn't pass the eye test for being that dude.